Thanks, Alan. Just following on from what a colleague on the committee asked before, do you accept, you made great play in your answer to the previous question about collecting information, would you accept that of these local authorities or other public bodies that don't do that, there will be a cost to the taxpayer in collecting that information?
What, in terms of the
It's a straightforward yes or no answer.
Well, clearly, but...
Thank you. I want to move on to what I wanted to ask about. On your figures, which you quoted earlier on, what percentage of trade union income are you implying comes from the taxpayer?
Again, I don't know the total trade union income across the UK, so I can't tell you.
Well, it's very publicly available. It is the most transparent money in politics and campaigning. So I would have thought that you would have looked up what percentage it is.
Look, I don't know off the top of my head what that number is, but I do know that 108 plus
so
million pounds a year is a large chunk of taxpayer money.
You're making a lot of assumptions from not knowing all the facts. And can I ask what grants you were referring to that trade unions get?
Well, I mean, as I said to Sir Alan, I will happily give you the specifics on that. Well, here we go. Direct payments to trade unions. BIS gave the TUC £20 million in 2012-13.
Can I just interrupt there? You specifically said that trade unions receive grants. I'm not aware of any grants that trade unions receive. Could you tell us what grants?
Well,
BIS, I think you will find the BIS figure is to do with the contracts that were won regarding trade union learning, which was something that lots of organisations applied for and delivered a service for. What grants do trade unions gain from the government or from the taxpayer, of which I am a taxpayer, as are many trade union members?
Well, I presume they all are. We're all taxpayers. There are amounts of money which have been given to trade unions.
Yeah, but you specifically referred to grants. Are you aware of any grants that trade unions receive? Or did you use the wrong word?
Yeah, I don't know how you want to define the word grant, but I'm talking about amounts of money that are handed directly to trade unions from public sector bodies, from Crangos, from local authorities, from government departments,
So can I take that you are not aware of any grants that the trade unions actually receive from? A grant is something applied for and given to. Are you aware of any grants that the trade unions receive from the taxpayer?
Any grant that is given to a body would have to be something that you would have to account for how it's spent. So, it is a grant in a sense.
But are you aware of any grants?
But well, it depends whether we're disagreeing about what the definition of grant is. I'm talking about money being given to trade unions from these
So
bodies.
you're not referring to grants. So can we move on to your big bugbear of the afternoon, which is facility time?
Yeah.
You seem to have a real problem with facility time. Would you accept that any agreements on facility time are made directly by employers or their representatives and employees or their representatives?
Yes.
So therefore, that is working in both people's interests. So the employer, whether it be public sector or anybody else, and the employee or their representative body, the trade union, are happy and come to that agreement freely without anybody putting pressure on them to do so. They want to make that agreement because they think it works in both people's interests.
I mean, it may well work in both people's interests, but at what cost? And I think an important
I'm
point
asking
to raise.
a question. Would you agree that is the situation?
Clearly, it's agreed by both sides.
Right.
But I think I should point out that in the public sector, the amount spent on facility time is 3.5 times the amount in the private sector, and so there's clearly an imbalance there. And we have always said that we should be seeking to get the amount spent by the public sector in the same proportion to as it is in the private sector.
Well, all I can say is my anecdotal evidence, which actually most of what you're talking about is anecdotal evidence, as a trade union official for 12 years, there is as many people on full-time release or partial release in the private sector as there is in the public sector. That is my experience. I can't back that with factual information, but then you can't back up with factual information what you were saying.